You've probably seen it in the news outlets where there is this KUSCCO heist, a money heist that has happened in the umbrella body for SACCOs. It's a union for SACCOs. So different SACCOs are going to contribute their money, which is your money as a shareholder, as a depositor. So your SACCO is going to take that money and they're going to deposit it with KUSCCO. Is going to use that money to invest in financial assets, shares, bonds, that kind of investments. And once KUSCCO makes money, they're going to share with your SACCO, and your SACCO is now going to share with you because the profits that they've made from SACCO's investments have been shared to them in proportion to the shares that they've bought. And you, as a shareholder, you are also going to receive part of these profits that have been shared from KUSCCO to your SACCO to you based on the shares that you've bought. So there's that trickle-down effect. What's interesting is that the 13.3 billion approximately that has been lost is your money, is the money that you've deposited with your SACCO, the money that your SACCO has now deposited with KUSCCO. So the fact that this money has been lost here, it's also been lost here, assuming this is your SACCO, and it's also a loss to you. But the question is, how is it going to affect you? Now, KUSCCO, which is the umbrella body, has 5.2 billion in assets and 17.7 billion as liabilities. So this is what PwC, which is an auditing company, found out, that in actual sense, KUSCCO is making losses. KUSCCO is insolvent because they have less assets and more of liabilities, more of expenses, more of things to pay out than what they actually own. Yet, KUSCCO was reporting that it was making profits, which is actually a lie of how they managed to steal. You can see that they managed to steal more here than what they currently own, but now they were overstating their statements. They were playing around with the financial books, and what's even interesting is that whoever was signing these financial books, whoever was approving these transfers, because they were stealing money in terms of withdrawals, these officials were withdrawing money from KUSCCO illegally using a forged signature of a deceased person. So even tracking who actually stole the money is going to be difficult in as much as we have the top officials who've been arrested. The other issue here with KUSCCO and how they managed to do this heist was in terms of cash transfers. You see, when I am withdrawing money from a SACCO, or even when I'm sending money to you, I can send it to you via a bank. So if I'm going to record it in my books, I'm going to say, okay, there was a bank transfer. Money moved from KUSCCO's accounts to this specific person's bank account. But what was happening is that in this heist, they were not recording that these transfers were made to banks. They were recording that these transfers were made to cash. There's no way you can trace to whom the money went to because the money was transferred in cash than in banks. So that's one of the reasons why, honestly, when this investigation was being done, and even when we now have the government involved, they say that recovering this money is almost impossible. And if it's possible, it's going to take time, because now we can't track all these records. And this is something that has been happening in a span of years in 2022, and we are now in 2025. The other issue with this heist is in terms of the loans. Some of these top officials were able to take loans from KUSCCO without any guarantees, any collaterals. You're just taking a loan. Yet we know that if you're going to take a loan, you need to have something that is supporting that loan. In case you default, there can be a way to recover that money. That's one of the issues. You can see that all these mismanagement issues are the ones that are translating to this 13.3 billion that has been lost. There was also an issue of commissions where there were certain commissions that were being given out, that were being paid out, yet they were not recorded. So in this heist, in short, they were overestimating the profits that KUSCCO was making. If you were to look at their bank accounts, if you were to look at their financial statements, you'd see that, hey, KUSCCO is making a lot of profits, and they have more in terms of assets and less in terms of liabilities because they've not recorded the expenses. They've not recorded the commissions. They have underestimated the expenses and the liabilities that have been cut, and they are overestimating the profits. Has 5.2 billion in assets, 17.7 billion in liability. So there's a difference of negative 12.5. How is this going to be recovered when whoever forged the documents is a deceased person? Of course, they've arrested 4 officials based on the latest news, but it's still not enough. It's still not enough. And even the guys who are arrested, the ones who were involved, who are part of this heist, is that they had tried to buy the same land twice. So they stole the extra money. We look forward to having these guys arrested, but the true picture is this money that was lost, there's a high chance it's not going to be recovered, and it's going to affect your SACCO, which might affect you depending on the shareholding that your SACCO has with KUSCCO. Let me illustrate. Let's say that you are in SACCO D that has shares in KUSCCO, and your SACCO contributed around, let's say, let me say 1 billion. So you, as a depositor, your money is part of this 1 billion. This 1 billion that was deposited to KUSCCO. KUSCCO has gone down because of this negative number. This money, this 1 billion that was contributed here cannot be retrieved. You see, it's going to affect the financial books for your SACCO. Your SACCO is now going to have 1 billion less of the money that it was going to extend to some of its shareholders in form of loans. Your SACCO is going to have 1 billion less that could affect your withdrawals as somebody who wants to withdraw your money from a SACCO. It's going to affect you as a saver because your savings are part of this 1 billion that has been lost from SACCOs. So your SACCO has an option. It can go to financial institutions like banks in case there's that panic where people want to withdraw their money or people just want to take loans with a SACCO. Remember, SACCOs have that advantage of giving cheaper loans. That's why we save with SACCOs, because you're going to get cheaper loans than going to banks. So in case somebody wants to take 10 million, another one wants to take 3 million, another one wants to take 15 million, which amounts to this 1 billion, but the 1 billion has been lost, they need to get this 1 billion back. They can decide to go to a financial institution like a bank and take a loan that can help mitigate all this risk, so that with time, giving your SACCO around 6 years, 5 years, or 7 years to recover, your SACCO will be back on its feet again. So in actual sense, your SACCO is even going to have losses because this 1 billion, assuming it's an amount that was lost, is going to affect the financial books, where this time we are going to have more liabilities. It's going to affect the valuation of your SACCO and even the expenses. This is a loss. This 1 billion will have to be recorded in a period of time as a loss to your SACCO. In actual sense, it's going to depend on the strength of your SACCO. It's also going to depend on how much shares your SACCO holds with KUSCCO. If it's less shares, so less money has been lost, it's going to be easier for your SACCO to navigate that. But if your SACCO holds a huge shareholding in KUSCCO and your SACCO lost a lot of money, it's going to be a tricky situation that I think SACCOs are going to find a way to manage. The truth of the matter is you've probably lost trust with your SACCO because of these mismanagement issues. And this is not the first time that we've heard of such a case. This is KUSCCO. There was a time there was that issue with Metropolitan SACCO, where again, we had depositors lose their money. We've heard of cases where some SACCOs go down and they go down with the savings and the deposits that the shareholders have with the SACCO. So it's not something that is new to us. This is my advice. And it's an advice that I had from somebody else. If you're going to save money in a SACCO, ensure that you have a loan with them. So either save small, such that if ever you lose small, or if you're going to save big, if you're going to have more shares in a SACCO, ensure that you have a loan with them so that in case something happens, you've not lost because you also owe them money. That's what I would say. And even think about it. The reason why we invest in SACCOs, the reason why we save rather in SACCOs is because we have that advantage of accessing a cheaper loan than from a bank. You can get a loan from a SACCO, 12%, at 12% per annum, which is reducing 12% per annum. while with a bank, if you were to go there, you'd get a loan at 16%, at 20%, which is more expensive. And also, even getting a loan from a SACCO is far much easier. You don't have to have like a paycheck to get a loan here, as long as you have guarantors, as long as you're able to save there, as long as you're able to meet a certain shareholding criteria, you can get a loan here. Easier and faster if you don't have those records. But with a bank, it's more strict. So honestly, the reason why we go to SACCOs is because of the cheap loans. So if your aim is to get a loan, continue saving with a SACCO and make sure you have a loan with a SACCO. But in terms of savings, you just want to save with a SACCO. Honestly, there are other accounts out there that can give you a competitive return on your savings. Yes. So saving with a SACCO with the aim of growing your savings to earn interest, save elsewhere. But you having savings, you buying shares in a SACCO with the aim of taking a loan, good for you. And in fact, take that loan. Take that loan. That's my advice. What do you think? Have you lost your trust with SACCOs? Are you going to withdraw your money after this saga? Are you scared that you're going to lose your money here, that you don't want to take that risk? Because there are some people who are very skeptical with SACCOs. They've been skeptical with SACCOs because of these issues. And these issues are not new to us. These are issues that have always been there. Mismanagement of funds, SACCOs going down. So these are some of the problems with that. There are people who are even willing to go take an 18%, a 20% loan with a bank than even save with a SACCO because of these issues. So have you lost your trust with SACCOs, or you still continue saving with SACCOs and enjoy the loan benefits? I'd love to know your thoughts on the comments. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one.